the new developments in the Karen Read murder trial.
This has been a wild turn of events.
I've seen a lot of things. I've never seen anything like this. This case never ceases to amaze me.
It's a spectacle, that's for sure.
It was a hung jury, so no verdict, no real ending to this case.
Karen Read was back in court where a date was set for her to be tried once again.
There are a lot of issues in this case.
Proctor was improperly searching Karen Read's cell phone for nude photos.
Michael Proctor, the lead investigator,
relieved of his duties.
It's always the theories that each side will put forth for a jury to decide which one is more believable.
Karen Read was drunk and angry and hit and killed John O'Keefe when she gunned it in the snowstorm.
Karen, did you ever say I hit him?
I did not.
There are more people here at the beginning of this than at the beginning of Johnny Depp's trial.
We're not concerned about any of the witnesses. None of the Commonwealth's witnesses are concerning us.
and once again, there was drama outside court.
There is a whole new set of legal troubles for Karen Read. She is now facing a wrongful death lawsuit.
The lawsuit alleges that Karen Read was drunk and reckless when she hit John O'Keefe.
It's not just Read being sued here. The family also suing the two Canton bars from that night.
The two bars are liable for over-serving her.
The FBI is investigating an investigation of a murder. That never, ever happens.
At this point, multiple jurors have been reaching out to both sides, saying that they are certain Karen Read is not a killer.
I did not kill John O'Keefe. I've never harmed a hair on John O'Keefe's head.
We're looking at arm injuries with scratches. We're not looking at tire tracks.
There are 17 jurors, and they're coming and going with a police escort.
The investigation wasn't thorough.
This can't be good for the prosecution moving forward.
I just hope justice is served for either one, whatever it is, you know.
The fate of her life is not in her hands anymore. It's not in the hands of her attorneys. It's not in the hands of the prosecutor. It's in the hands of the jury now.
Free Karen Read! Free Karen Read! Free Karen Read! Free Karen Read! Free Karen Read!
In the last few years, it seems like Canton, Massachusetts has been at the center of endless controversies. And even though it has been nearly 4 months since the mistrial was declared, the case still seems to be making headlines on a regular basis. The Commonwealth has filed a response to the Supreme Judicial Court for Karen Read's appeal. The American Civil Liberties Union of Massachusetts takes the opposite stance and files a brief to support Karen Read's appeal. And we have updates on Judge Beverly Kearney, Lieutenant Tully, and of course, the bombshells dropped in the Bederow letters. This will be 2 parts because it's too much for one episode. And I'll also be talking to Kearney about the charges and the shocking letters filed by his attorney. We have a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts filed a 77-page brief with the Supreme Judicial Court in relation to Karen Read's appeal, presenting 3 issues. 1, that the jury reported 3 times in increasingly sharper terms that it was deadlocked, and at no point did the jury express the prospect of being unanimous on any charge, but instead said that they are hopelessly deadlocked on the charges. So the issue, they said, would be, did the trial judge abuse her discretion in declaring a mistrial based on the deadlock reported by the jury? The second issue is the defendant didn't object to the declaration of the mistrial. The judge found the defense counsel had multiple opportunities to raise any objection, and she explicitly found not credible the defendant's assertions that the mistrial was sudden and unexpected, not giving them an opportunity to be heard. So the issue here would be, did the judge err in concluding that the defendant consented to the mistrial? And the third and final issue presented is that the jury did not return, announce, and affirm any verdicts in open court. So the issue would be, was the defendant acquitted of the charges of second-degree murder and leaving the scene? The Commonwealth's brief argues that Judge Kearney used her discretion and there was no viable alternative to declaring a mistrial. They agree with Judge Kearney's ruling about the defense having an opportunity to object and say that the defense consistently pushed for that result in response to those notes. They also say that the jury was clear on being deadlocked, and there was no acquittal because the jury didn't return, announce, or affirm any open and public verdicts of acquittal. Their argument also relies heavily on not talking to the jurors because it would require impermissible inquiry into the jurors' deliberation process. Now, I've said it before that I disagree with this. It seems to me like asking if this was a unanimous agreement isn't asking about deliberation process. It's quite obvious that it's asking about a verdict. And while the Commonwealth of Massachusetts may disagree with me, the ACLUM seems to agree. I mentioned in the previous episode that the American Civil Liberties Union of Massachusetts filed a brief in relation to the appeal that Karen Reed's team has filed about dismissing the charges based on double jeopardy. Now, at the time that I reported it in the last episode, the brief wasn't actually yet available on public record, but I was able to get it since then and read through it, and prior to filing the brief, the ACLUM actually reached out to the defense and the Commonwealth to ask whether they would assent to or oppose the motion to file the brief. They said that the defense assented and the Commonwealth took no position. The brief states that the ACLUM takes no position on what the evidence presented at trial did or did not show. Rather, the brief is to address the trial court's decision not to respond to compelling evidence that there was a potential mistake or misunderstanding concerning the outcome of the jury's deliberations, and what processes will be employed by trial courts addressing any similar circumstances in the future. Their position is that Karen being retried on multiple criminal charges that numerous jurors now claim they acquitted her on would violate the prohibition against double jeopardy. And if the court does not grant the motion to dismiss those charges, then they can and should prevent the potential for injustice by ordering the trial court to conduct an evidentiary hearing to determine whether the jury in her first trial agreed to acquit her on any count. The brief refers to the declaration of a mistrial as hasty, stating that the court didn't poll the jury or clarify if they were hung up on all three counts. It also says that refusing to conduct an evidentiary hearing was an error by the court, and a clear path would have been to simply ask the jurors whether a verdict had been reached on any count. The brief is 30 pages and includes a ton of case law to support their position, including the ability of trial courts to regularly poll juries on verdict-related issues. The conclusion is simply listed as this, quote, "For the foregoing reasons, this court should vacate the decision of the trial court denying appellant's motion to dismiss and remand for the trial court to conduct an evidentiary hearing if the charges are not otherwise deposed," end quote. Having this brief in support of Karen Reed is a huge win for Karen and her defense team. The appeal is still scheduled to be argued on November 6th. We also have an update on Judge Beverly Canoni, or Auntie Bev as Sean McCabe refers to her. It was reported this week that Judge Canoni's role as the Regional Administrative Justice of Norfolk County would be coming to an end on January 1st. It was believed that Judge Canoni would then be rotated out of Norfolk County, therefore having another judge take over the second trial of Karen Reed. But the court confirmed that Judge Canoni wouldn't be going anywhere. She is moving out of her role as RAJ, but will be staying in Norfolk County, staying on Karen Reed's case, and will assume the chair of the Superior Court's Criminal Committee. While Judge Canoni may not be going anywhere, the same can't be said for Lieutenant Brian Tully from the Norfolk County Detective Unit. Massachusetts State Police removed Tully as the head of the Detective Bureau for Norfolk County, and he's been transferred out. State Police's Colonel Jeffrey Noble said that the decision was in the best interest of the department's public safety mission, but didn't really say why. Interesting timing, though. You'll remember that we've discussed Tully before in previous episodes. He testified in the trial of Karen Reed, is the subject of an ongoing internal affairs investigation, and is also part of the investigation against Aidan Kearney for witness intimidation and picketing charges. We're going to get much more in-depth about that and about why Tully being transferred out is such interesting timing later in this episode. Not surprisingly, it involves corruption and dishonesty with the state police and district attorney. More on that later. And as if District Attorney Michael Morrissey needs any more negative attention, his longtime spokesman, David Traub, has put in his resignation after more than 25 years. Traub turned in his resignation in September, giving Morrissey more than a month to find his replacement. He spoke to the Boston Herald saying that it was just time to go, but he says that he and Morrissey will be parting as friends. I can't imagine that being the spokesman for Morrissey would be an easy job, especially given the amount of negative attention on the DA's office and the indefensible actions of those involved. Imagine having to be the spokesman during a federal probe into Morrissey's office, and the way that they handled the Karen Read investigation. The FBI coming in and ruling Sandra Birchmore's death a homicide, which was obvious to apparently everyone except for Morrissey's office. The embarrassingly growing list of Massachusetts State Police mess-ups and officers being rehomed or investigated. The dysfunctional ongoing Canton police audit. And now, the absolute disaster that is the Aidan Kearney, aka Turtleboy investigation. Yeah, I don't blame Traub for being done here. Traub will be replaced by the Sun Chronicle's David Linton, who has been the police, fire, and court reporter there for almost 40 years. In an article on the Sun Chronicle's website to announce Linton's resignation and his new role for the Norfolk County DA, executive editor Craig Borges said that they will miss David greatly. He was a great reporter who probably knew the court system better than many attorneys. He said he has deep connections in the field of law enforcement, which helped him break numerous stories. Linton said that he has known Traub for a long time, and he's helping him with the transition. Marcy is also losing one of his top aides, Lynn Beeland, who is retiring. Not sure how all of this will impact his chances at re-election next year, but safe to say, this hasn't been the best term for this DA. And that brings us to the main story for this episode, the explosive Bederow letters, written by the newest member of Aidan Kearney's legal team, Mark Bederow, exposing more information and corruption from the district attorney and the state police. Attorney Mark Bederow has quite a reputation in the legal world. Here's his biography from his practice's website. Attorney Mark Bederow, a former prosecutor at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, is well known for aggressive advocacy on behalf of his clients. He has successfully represented clients in serious matters where people's liberty and future rest in the balance. As an experienced and creative advocate, Mr. Bederow has gained favorable outcomes for his clients through trials, contested legal proceedings, legal argument, negotiation, and demonstrating clients' innocence. Mr. Bederow's practice is concentrated on traditional street crime and white-collar crime prosecuted in New York and New Jersey's federal and state courts. Over the course of more than 20 years practicing criminal law as a Manhattan assistant district attorney and in private practice, Mr. Bederow has earned a reputation as a zealous advocate, a legal strategist, and a top-notch trial attorney. Bederow has a track record of success in both his defense and prosecutorial resumes. In one case, which received worldwide media attention, he successfully defended a former supervisory special agent of the FBI against 4 counts of murder arising out of allegations that he assisted a notorious mafia informant commit organized crime-related murders in Brooklyn. All charges were dismissed mid-trial after defense cross-examination exposed that the prosecution's chief witnesses were lying. Bederow has also assisted with wrongful convictions and post-conviction re-investigation and litigation, which recently resulted in an innocent client that was wrongfully convicted being released after being incarcerated for a year. And as a prosecutor, he was able to successfully prosecute multiple significant cases, including one of the first indictments under New York's hate crime statute when he successfully prosecuted a German national who attempted to burn down a Jewish neighbor's apartment in a Manhattan high-rise apartment building. Bederow is impressive. His no-nonsense and direct approach to addressing issues is one of my favorite things about him, and the reason that I've had him on my show multiple times to help break down legal documents and situations. His understanding of the law and ability to see the full picture makes him extremely sought after. Bederow recently joined the legal team for Aidan Kearney, now working alongside attorney Tim Bradel to fight the allegations against Kearney of witness intimidation and tampering. On September 12th, Bederow sent a letter to Special Assistant District Attorneys Robert Cosgrove and Ken Mello on behalf of his client Aidan Kearney. Before we get into this letter, we need a little background on the charges and what's been going on. We'll be right back after this. Make this fall the tastiest season yet with farm-fresh produce and easy autumn-inspired recipes delivered right to your door with HelloFresh. HelloFresh delivers all of the pre-portioned ingredients that you'll need to make easy, homemade meals. You get all of the protein, the veggies, the sauces, the spices, and more. It all arrives in a box with simple instructions that walk you through each step in the cooking process. Whip up tasty restaurant-style meals in your own kitchen without the high price tag of takeout and in less time than it takes to get delivery. HelloFresh has been a huge time saver for me. I've always loved to cook, but podcaster life means less time to cook and grocery shop. So I ordered the HelloFresh Quick and Easy meals. They're ready in 20 minutes or less, so I can still get fresh, homemade meals even with my busy schedule. There are other categories as well, like classic meals in the meat and veggies plan, vegetarian and vegan options, and even a family-friendly option that has kid-tested recipes that even your picky eaters will approve of. Get 10 free meals at hellofresh.com/freebrandy. Applied across 7 boxes, new subscribers only, and it varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals just by going to hellofresh.com/freebrandy. Try out America's #1 meal kit. The defense team in Karen Read's case have been very clear about their position on what happened to John O'Keefe the night that he tragically lost his life. They've been very vocal about the Alberts and McCabe's being involved and conspiring to frame Karen to take the fall. Aidan Kearney, aka Turtleboy, runs a series of websites and social media accounts and is known for his aggressive approach to reporting. Turtleboy also believes that the Alberts and McCabe's are involved in the death of Officer John O'Keefe, and he has used his large following to spread the word and rally support for Karen Read and her defense. We've discussed the allegations against Kearney before in previous episodes. He's been charged with witness intimidation and conspiracy against witnesses involved in the Karen Read case. We've played clips from hearings that Kearney has had in court and gone over some of the allegations against him and what led to some of these charges. But in order to fully grasp everything that has happened recently and what has now been exposed, we need to dive a little bit deeper. Kearney began writing about the case against Karen Read on April 18th of 2023. That's the day that his first blog about the case was published on his website and was titled Canton Cover-Up Part 1, Corrupt State Trooper Helps Boston Cop Cover Up Murder of Fellow Officer, Frame Innocent Girlfriend. Over the next 6 months, Kearney wrote scathing articles about the Massachusetts State Police, the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, and some of the McCabe and Albert family members, a group that has collectively become known on social media and publicly referenced as the McAlberts. So let's walk through the timeline of the events that were listed in the Statement of Facts against Aidan Kearney, all according to Massachusetts State Police Lieutenant Brian Tully of Norfolk County, or should I say, formerly from Norfolk County. Kearney's coverage started in April, and among some of the blog posts were articles written that referenced Elizabeth Proctor, the wife of lead investigator Trooper Michael Proctor. Kearney had written multiple times about Elizabeth Proctor, criticizing her behavior on social media. For example, a woman posted a comment on social media that she watched her father collect evidence on bad cops for decades, which caused her and her brother to keep files at their house in case anything ever happened to him. So based on her experience, she said that she believed the officers in this case needed to be looked at. Elizabeth Proctor laughed at the woman's comment, causing Kearney to post the screenshots of that one and others on his website. Kearney also wrote that Elizabeth Proctor had begun to call the employers of some of his followers, demanding that they be fired after they commented negatively about Proctor on the Turtleboy Facebook page. He said that one person that he talked to about this said that he was at work when a call came in, and the caller ID showed the name Michael Proctor. It only rang twice, and then another call came in immediately from a blocked number. His boss answered, and a female caller told him that his employee should be fired for making what she called threatening posts. A search for the number shows that it came up for Elizabeth Proctor, and Kearney posted a video that shows a cell phone screen calling and displaying the phone number. A woman answers. He says this line is being recorded and asks if this is Elizabeth Proctor, and she says yes. Kearney then lists Elizabeth Proctor's position and place of employment, and the main phone number for the company, saying that it's unlikely to reach anyone through the phone number, so readers should feel free to leave a review on their Facebook page or Twitter account. In the article, Kearney writes, quote, "I can think of 2 people who deserve to lose their jobs over this, though. Michael Proctor and Elizabeth Proctor. These two lowlifes think they are untouchable. They're nothing but bullies who terrorized people for years, but now they've met their match. End quote. On Kearney's YouTube channel, Turtleboy Live, he calls Elizabeth Proctor while live on the air and leaves this voicemail.
When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Elizabeth. This is Aidan Kearney calling you back from Turtleboy. We briefly spoke yesterday on the phone. I introduced myself to you, and then you hung up on me, or maybe it was a bad connection. But I just wanted to see how your day at work went today, if it went well. I noticed that your employer took down their social media pages within minutes of the blog I published about your recent behavior. And I just wanted to see, is it awkward? Were you afraid to go in? Just tell me about your day and why. Because that's the part I don't understand, is that you seem to be okay with calling other people's workplaces and interfering with their ability to make a living for themselves. But when it happens to you, maybe it's not as fun. Maybe it's not as fun. Do you like that? That's what I want to know. Did you like that? Like, because you've been doing that to a lot of other people, and do you think it's fair that it happened to you, dear? Do you regret it? That's another. Do you regret it? And what's your scumbag husband up to right now? Are you going to visit him in prison? Do you think they'll have conjugal visits? Give me a call back when you get this, and we could chat some more. Bye, girl.
Kearney then accessed the social media accounts of Elizabeth's employer and noted that they were taken down, laughing at this and calling it the Turtleboy effect.
And let's see, is their Facebook page down? Let's see. It's gone. It's fucking gone. That was quick. That's gone. You can't reply on the Twitter. Or did they take the whole Twitter down? The tweets are protected. The Turtleboy effect. Oh, God. Is this picture of Elizabeth Proctor still?
On June 6th, 2023, Kearney showed up at a lacrosse game of Matt and Jen McCabe's children and confronted Jen and Matt in the bleachers while recording it. He called Jen McCabe a cop killer, and Matt McCabe stepped in between them to prevent Kearney from recording her. Kearney was then kicked out of the game. On a live show on June 13th, Kearney displayed phone records of Jen McCabe from the night that John was killed, and the records showed the names next to the phone numbers. This came from an unredacted defense motion that was filed in the case, so Trooper Proctor's work cell phone number was listed. But Kearney didn't know it was Proctor's number when he called it. He called the number live on the show to find out who Jen McCabe was calling in those hours. When the voicemail greeting comes up, he finds out the number belongs to Proctor and leaves this voicemail.
Hi, you reached Trooper Michael Proctor with the Norfolk County DA's
It's Proctor.
Please use your name.
It's Proctor. It's fucking Proctor.
As soon as possible. Thank you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Trooper Proctor. This is award-winning journalist Aidan Kearney calling. I'm calling to talk to you. I do have some questions about you. I have a lot of questions, actually. For starters, why didn't you tell anyone before doing the investigation that you were good friends with the Albert family? Why did you, in your report, say that you were introduced to Chris Albert on February 10th when you had known him for more than a decade prior to that? Why did you lie about what time you towed Karen Reed's car? Why did you intentionally misspell the names of several key witnesses in your report? And I'm just wondering about all of those things. And maybe you and I can meet up for coffee, because boy, do I have a lot of questions for you. When you were inside Fairview Road that night, that morning rather, why did you stay there for 4.5 hours? And what did you guys talk about and do? And why were you descending stairs with John O'Keefe's phone in your pocket? So give me a call back, man. I feel like you and I have a lot of catching up to do. I talk about you a lot. I feel like I know you pretty well at this point. I know which year you graduated from the academy. I know you were out in West Brookfield for a while. I know some people that you know. So give me a call back when you get this. Now that I have your number, and everybody watching also has your phone number, which again is 781-364-0165. So I'd like to know. Oh, looks like she called you again. You called her at 12:49, and we're going to get to that. So Now that I have your number, I'm going to plug you in and we'll talk soon. Bye.
Tully says that as a result of the number being broadcasted, Proctor began to receive random and harassing voicemails and text messages. There were about a dozen texts, phone calls, and voicemails left within the first 12 hours after the video was broadcasted, each referencing Proctor's alleged involvement in the cover-up and calling for his termination. Tully says that Proctor had to change his work cell phone number to avoid the constant unwanted calls and messages. Kearney also leaves a voicemail for Julie Albert and one for Chris Albert. Here's the one to Julie.
Hi, Julie. This is award-winning journalist Aidan Kearney calling from Turtleboy Daily News. Just calling to ask you a few questions. I saw you at the Board of Selectmen meeting a few weeks ago. You looked great and extremely happy in the front row and extremely comfortable, like you wanted to be there. So just wanted to ask you a couple questions. I'm reading a police report right now from February 10th, 2022, in which Michael Proctor says he interviewed you and introduced himself for the first time, which confuses me a little bit because it seems like your family has known him for quite some time. I was wondering how your son, Colin, who was at 34 Fairview Road the night that John O'Keefe was murdered, ended up in a wedding party with Trooper Proctor and Trooper Proctor's sister before he was actually a trooper. And I wanted to know, how did you guys meet? And did you guys just forget about each other over time that you had to be reintroduced again? But what I'd really like to know is, if you were in the Canton High School class of 1994, how the hell did Jen McCabe win Best Looking? Were they using Dominion voting machines? How does that happen? And how does that hurt your self-esteem to know that you were in the same graduating class as Jennifer McCabe and she got Best Looking? Like, how do you cope with that? Do you need therapy? That has to hurt your feelings, right? Because that would just devastate me if I lost a horse face. So give me a call back when you get this and we'll talk soon. Bye.
On June 27th, Kearney goes to Canton and records it for his YouTube channel. The episode is titled Turtleboy Returns to Canton, Door Knocking, Grilling Public Officials, and Cops Called on Me. In the description, Kearney says that he revisited Canton, knocked on doors, barged into town hall, grilled public officials, and ended the morning by getting kicked out of D&E Pizza and having the cops called on him by Chicken Parm Charlie, the nickname he has given to Chris Albert. He says in the video they will discuss it all. Some of the statements from this video are later cited in the charges against him. Here is one of those statements.
And there's nothing you can do about it. There's just nothing you can do. And I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm just going to keep, like, this is not my last trip to Canton. I will be back.
Also in this video is Kearney going into D&E Pizza. Chris Albert is the owner of D&E Pizza, and Tully says that Kearney went there to confront him, then encouraged his followers to confront Chris Albert, order food from D&E with no intent to pay, and harass, which Chris has said led to an increase in the number of phone orders not picked up or paid for. There have also been additional visits by Kearney to D&E where he has held signs and confronted people in and around the restaurant. While in Canton that day, Kearney also went to the McCabe home and rang the doorbell. The front door was open, and Kearney recorded the inside of the home through a storm door for about 1 minute. A person who Kearney says is Jen McCabe could be seen inside.
Oh, there's Jen. Let's see if they come to the door. So I definitely saw Jen in there. I think they can hear us on the ring too. So Jen, I mean you no harm. I just have a couple questions. Looking for how long to die in cold. I wonder if you had an answer for that. But we'll see.
Sergeant Yuri Buchanan interviewed Colin Albert in July of 2023 about harassment that he has received related to this case. Colin was 17 at the time of John O'Keefe's death and had been drinking at a friend's house before coming to 34 Fairview Road that night. Karen Reed has previously stated that Colin had some issues with John O'Keefe, and because of his large size, aggressive behavior on social media, and his propensity for violence, Reed believed that Colin may have had something to do with John's death. Kearney also believed this to be true and has made multiple social media posts about Colin being involved in John's death, as well as information about Colin and where he will be attending college. Since then, the document says that Colin has been the target of harassment and intimidation on social media, and employees of his college have received emails from people who talked about these allegations. Kearney called Colin live on a YouTube video and left a voicemail. He was mocking the videos that came out of Colin when he was threatening the Advantage Boys, and Kearney was repeating some of the phrases that Colin had used in those videos that would later be played in Karen's trial.
Yo, Colin, it's Turtleboy from them Advantage Boys. Bang, bang! Bang, bang! Yo, we'll fuck any of you dogs up. Yo, you challenge my boys, them Advantage Boys, to a fight, dog. And we about that life, son. We about that life. Yo, we from Sharon, son. Yo, Canton bitches ain't hard, yo. Us Sharon bitches, us Advantage Boys. Nobody be fucking with us and shit, dog. So, yo, call me back. No, but seriously, it's Aidan Kearney from Turtleboy Daily News. I just want to know, were you the one who killed John O'Keefe, or was that your Uncle Brian? Who hit him first? Who hit him with the back of the head with the thing? Are you worried that you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life, and that you won't be able to play football at Bridgewater State next year? I'd love to have a conversation with you. Your dad kicked me out of your pizza shop, and I didn't get to eat his mediocre chicken parm. So I just wanted to know if you could talk to me about that, and maybe you could tell me, maybe you and I could go for a ride. We could find them Advantage Boys. Bang, bang. I don't know. So give me a call when you get this. Bye.
Colin told Buchanan that the harassment has made him sad, scared, and paranoid, and he fears physical harm from strangers. Colin played football at the college that he attended, but said that he chose to withdraw from the team due to past harassment. On another of his YouTube videos, Kearney says that he knows why family members of Colin don't like him, because he's, quote, trying to put Colin in jail and kind of like destroy their life, end quote. On July 15th, another YouTube video is posted on Turtleboy Live, and he makes these comments about Chris Albert.
I'm happy about it. Like, I confronted this guy a couple weeks ago. This guy's got his head on a swivel everywhere now. He's like, Turtle Riders, where are they? I got bad news for you, Chris. I got really bad news for you. They're literally everywhere. You can't, like, you guys should just stop going out in public. Like, that'd be my recommendation. And it's only going to get worse from here. I did not direct this person to do this. I can't stop them. They're everywhere. They don't like you. Nobody likes you. You guys killed someone. You literally killed someone. Not you. You didn't do it. You raised someone who did it. And, your big bro did it. But and you obviously know this and you're helping to cover it up.
There's also a video of a confrontation with Chris Albert outside of his restaurant. And Kearney says Chris's reaction is just giving him the green light and wanting him to pursue him further. He also praises the woman who recorded the interaction, saying it was a fantastic job. On July 22nd, Kearney organized what he called a rolling road rally, where protesters would travel to the homes of witnesses in a caravan of cars to protest a murder cover-up and framing of an innocent woman. The rolling rally was broadcast on Kearney's YouTube channel, and the first stop was the home of Julie Nagel, who was present at 34 Fairview when people arrived after leaving Waterfall. Julie was home with her mother when the caravan pulled up in front of her house and was there for about 10 minutes. Kearney said that Officer John O'Keefe was beat to death inside the house and that Julie Nagel knows what happened that night and should come forward and tell the truth. The second location of the rolling rally was the home of Michael and Elizabeth Proctor. The Proctors made plans and left home to avoid the protest, so they weren't home when it happened. But Kearney showed up with the caravan and used a megaphone to announce that Proctor framed Karen Reed, that he was the most pivotal person in the cover-up, and that he covered for other officers and planted evidence. The McCabe home was the third stop in the rolling rally, and Matt, Jen, and two of their children were home when the protesters arrived. They spent about 8 minutes in front of the house using the bullhorn to announce that Jen McCabe is a cop killer and that they want to live like nothing happened, but, quote, we are not going to allow them to do that because you do not get to kill police officers and fathers and get away with it, end quote. On August 12th, Kearney posts another video titled Colin Albert Drops Out of School, Brian Higgins Flipping, Is the End Near? The description says that there are rumors ruffling in Canton and asks, is the net closing in? In this video, Kearney calls Jill Daniels, the sister of Julie Albert, who answers the phone, and they end up getting into it.
Hello? Yeah, live to tape. Hi, is this Jill?
It's Turtleboy.
It's Turtleboy. Is this Jill Daniels?
Oh.
What are you doing, Jill?
I'm just What are you doing?
Are you at all worried that your godson Colin is going to go to jail?
Do you understand that Colin wasn't even there? Do you understand you're a fucking piece of shit?
Really?
Do you understand you're going to jail?
Why am I going to jail for?
You want to know? Okay, can we have a conversation right now?
Yeah, let's have.
Fucking turtle.
Yeah, let's have a conversation. So what is your evidence that Colin wasn't there?
He's online. He's online right now.
Hello?
Yeah, who's this?
Go fuck yourself, you fucking homo.
Who's that?
He calls back, and the interaction continues.
Hey, back.
Go fucking take care of your kids, you fucking loser. Go away.
You loser? Who are you? Is this Julie?
The two go back and forth for quite a while. Here are some highlights from those arguments.
Seriously, what do you want with me?
I just want to know one thing.
I know that Karen Reed is a fucking killer. Why do you keep calling me? Why don't you get a life? No, fuck you. Shut the fuck up for once in your fucking life because you don't know how to shut up. You think you're the biggest fucking bully? Colin was not there, and you're gonna look like a fucking piece of shit.
Where was he? What evidence do you have?
Can you ever shut up? Can you ever shut up?
Okay, let's have a conversation.
Shut the fuck up. For once in your life, can you shut up?
Okay.
You are the biggest friggin' piece of trash in the world. You get kicks off of getting Karen Reed hit John and killed him. You freaking get money off of this. You are a sick human being. Do you know that? You're a fucking troll that fucking trolls everybody because you have no life, you have no clear friends, and you freaking focus on your kids. You have 2 kids.
I do. They're lovely.
And your wife hates you, so
okay,
whatever.
But you're changing the subject.
That's the point. Why do you only start? Why is it guilty until proven innocent? Why is that? What about Higgins? What about everybody? Like
Higgins, what? Why are you turning on Higgins?
No, I'm asking you. Why? No, I'm not saying. I'm saying there was 6 people in the house. Why are you focusing on Brian and Colin only? So sick of you fucking ridiculing every single goddamn person in my family in this world. If somebody disagrees with you, guess what you do?
Well, it's not hard. Just don't kill someone, and I'll like you. You know, it's not a high bar.
Do you know how to shut up? Do you know how to shut up? Have you ever shut up in your life?
I feel like you've done most of the talking, in fairness. Okay, sorry. So, whoa, take it easy. Easy, pussycat.
Turtleboy, you fucking turtle rider. Go get a new name, okay, you fucking turtle juice.
Whoa, you're so angry. Why are you so angry?
Oh, I'm angry because I'm so sick of you. You have ruined so many people's fucking lives when Karen fucking killed him. I am done. Colin didn't do it. Brian didn't do it. Jen didn't do it. No one did it. Your fucking bitch Karen did it. So fucking lay on that and fucking figure that out. Go fuck.
Well, can I ask you, but seriously though.
Jill Daniels is also the one in episode 25 that I mentioned was charged with assault and battery against Aidan after she jumped out of her car and ran over to him, grabbed his phone, and participated in an altercation. Jill was arraigned for those charges last week. We'll be right back after this. Are restless nights ruining your sleep? It's time to break the cycle with our sponsor, GhostBed. The right mattress can transform your sleep, making every night feel like a dream. GhostBed, a trusted name with over 20 years experience in the bed-in-a-box industry, specializes in creating high-quality mattresses and sleep essentials designed for comfort and durability. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or anything in between, GhostBed has the perfect match for your needs. Their expert team is ready to guide you, or you can take their simple online quiz to find your ideal mattress. This Halloween, don't miss out on GhostBed's best deals of the year. Plus, 13th Juror listeners can score 50% off site-wide. Just visit ghostbed.com/brandy and use promo code BRANDY at checkout. And don't forget, with GhostBed's 101-night sleep trial, you can test your mattress risk-free. And their fast, free shipping means you could be sleeping better in just a few days. Upgrade your sleep and catch those sweet dreams. Head over to ghostbed.com/brandy and use code BRANDY for 50% off your entire order. In September, Kearney posted an article on his website, TB Daily News, that discusses a Free Karen Reed billboard that was put up outside of Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, saying that there are 2 more that are planned to follow. In the article, Kearney writes the following: "Thank you to everyone who donated as well. Although millions of people know about the injustice that is happening in Norfolk County, I would bet that over half of the population of Norfolk County has never heard of Karen Read before. That will change because of this three-pronged billboard blitz. It's really important for people in Norfolk County to know about this story because that is where the jury pool would be chosen from. That same month, Kearney had a video on his YouTube channel where he showed a picture of a sign that was on the lawn of Jen McCabe's sister. The sign said, "Remember, this is about justice for John," and it had John's badge number on there. Kearney is angry about the signs and says this.
You killed John O'Keefe, you worthless piles of shit, and I'm going to find you, motherfucker. I'm going to find you. Just know that. You want to fucking dance? We can fucking dance. I didn't know who you were before this. You were like John. I thought you were Jen's lesbian sister or some shit. I didn't know shit about you. Now we know all about your son, Tommy. And Tommy's the lacrosse coach, I believe, at Canton High School, right? Yeah. Oh, we can talk about Tommy too. We can pay Tommy a visit too. We're gonna go after you're gonna get the whole fucking deal now. All of it. Allie McCabe, she can get it too. They can all get it. We've left the second generation out of this for a bit. That's over. They're all gonna get it. They're all gonna get it. And by the way, that includes 75 Elm Street in Easton. Tristan, we got some questions for you, my dude. Caitlin Albert, we got some questions for you. Show up at another Bridgewater State football game. I dare you. Daddy's coming to town. These people make me sick.
He also says this about Jen McCabe.
Keep in mind, this woman whose house this is at, her sister killed John O'Keefe. Her sister literally killed John O'Keefe. Literally. And let me be very clear. If Jen McCabe did not participate in killing John O'Keefe by Googling how long to die in cold at 2:27, which is the same thing as killing him, you're planning to kill him. You're just as guilty. If that is untrue, what I'm saying right now is I am not saying this is a matter of opinion. I'm saying this is a matter of fact that Jen McCabe participated in killing and planning to kill and cover up the murder of John O'Keefe. I'm saying that is not my opinion. That is a fact.
Jen said in her interview with Buchanan that her children are afraid to be at their own home, that they are upset, embarrassed, and angry at the false allegations that Kearney has been broadcasting. On September 25th, a Facebook account used by Kearney posted a message asking if anyone in Canton could take a couple of pictures for him. Less than half an hour later, the post was edited to let people know that it was all set. A little more than an hour after that, a picture is posted by Kearney on his X account, formerly Twitter, of Jen McCabe's Jeep in front of the Proctor home. Kearney says the plates of all three cars have been run, and they confirmed that the cars are those of Elizabeth and Michael Proctor, and the Jeep belongs to Jen McCabe. Kearney discusses this in a YouTube video the following day, stating that he ran the plates, which refers to Motor Vehicle Registration Database, which is accessible to law enforcement and for legitimate law enforcement purposes only. Lieutenant Fanning conducted an audit to determine who ran the plates and found that it was done by a dispatcher with the Avon Police Department named Janelle Webb. Fanning and Tully interviewed Janelle at the Avon Police Department, and she told them that she has sent information to the Facebook account that she believes to be used by Kearney before. She said that she would give her phone to them, and so they took the phone and determined that she was friends with the Facebook account used by Kearney, and she did provide the registration for all three plates. And they said that she has, quote, numerous posts and comments on content on Facebook supporting Karen Read's innocence and copying Kearney's claims of a police cover-up, end quote. On another YouTube video, Kearney acknowledged that it's illegal to obtain information about the registration of a vehicle and discussed why he thinks it should be legal. I've mentioned Jen McCabe being at the Proctor home on previous episodes. This is a huge deal. A key witness in the murder investigation of Boston police officer John O'Keefe at the home of the lead investigator, that doesn't do much to help prevent the distrust that public already has with the people involved in this case. Tully says he interviewed Jen McCabe about this, and Jen said she had never met Elizabeth or Michael Proctor prior to September of 2023. But she and Elizabeth Proctor began communicating about, quote, harassment, intimidation, and public attacks, end quote. She said that they bonded over sharing the ongoing experience, and she just went to the Proctor's home to discuss that. On September 28th, Chris Albert filed an affidavit in support of a harassment prevention order in Stoughton District Court, claiming that Kearney has made unsubstantiated allegations and personal attacks, referencing some of the mentioned videos, and stating that he's a member of the Select Board, and Kearney has come to the Select Board meetings and encouraged others to do so as well. They brought signs, they were disruptive, and he said that Kearney stood near him holding signs and giving him the middle finger multiple times. He also said that Kearney followed him outside, and when he left, he interfered with his ability to leave. Chris Albert said that this has caused him great pain and stress. His mental health is not great. He wakes up every day thinking about it and goes to bed with it on his mind. It's caused his business to suffer and strained his relationships, and it's an ongoing battle every day to live life as a normal person. His right to live peacefully is being infringed. Kearney's response in a video was that Chris doesn't have the right to live peacefully. The judge denied granting the protection order, but Kearney wasn't in the clear. On October 11th, 2023, Kearney took his children out to the bus stop for school when several police officers approached him. Here's Kearney on his YouTube video describing the event. I've edited it down for time purposes, but the full video is still available on Turtleboy Live YouTube channel.
I get my kids on the bus every day at 8:30. The bus stop is across the street from our house. Then I watch them cross the street to get on the bus, and then I go in the back of the bus. And while I'm going in the back of the bus, all of a sudden, a truck kept pushing up on me. Like, whoa, chill. A man got out of the car. I've never seen this guy before. Undercover state trooper. And he looked thrilled. Like, he was, like, excited to be there and be the one to announce that I was under arrest. And the second cop I saw who came over and I believe, like, put the actual cuffs on me was Lieutenant Brian Tully. And Lieutenant Brian Tully is the boss of Michael Proctor, who I've been very critical of. And for his role in covering up the murder of John O'Keefe. And he's the one that okayed all his reports and, quite frankly, is complicit in this whole thing. And likely is under federal investigation by the FBI and is freaking out over it.
A third car comes, and Kearney says the officer looks familiar. It takes a moment, and then he realizes who it is.
That's Lieutenant John Fanning. John Fanning is the lieutenant who was in charge of the Sandra Birchmore investigation. He is the one who ultimately made the decision that Sandra Birchmore committed suicide, which she did not. Sandra Birchmore was murdered by Matthew Farwell a year before John O'Keefe was murdered in the town of Canton. 2 murders in the town of Canton at the hands of police officers, both swept under the rug by the corrupt Norfolk County District Attorney's Office.
Next, Trooper Yuri Buchanan comes.
So my kids got on the bus, and they sit at the front because they're younger. But my son said to me, there were 7 cops at our house. That's what he said. So he saw something. And I'm like trying to get out of him what he saw. He doesn't want to talk about it. Those kids all witnessed me being put in handcuffs. So they obviously got on the bus, and if my kids didn't witness it, they were alerted by their classmates. So they found out what happened that way. And this was by design. Like, they did this by design. Like, this could have been a summons. I would have shown up for court. No, that's defeating the whole purpose here. The purpose was to send a message. Stop talking about this. Stop exposing these people, or we will humiliate you in front of your children. Well, guess what? I'm never, ever going to stop.
Police had a warrant for his house, car, and devices. They took his 2 phones and his computer, which he says that he needed to be able to work. Kearney was charged with 8 felony counts of witness intimidation, 4 misdemeanor counts for picketing witnesses, and 1 count of conspiracy. News crews caught Kearney being escorted in handcuffs into the courthouse later that morning for arraignment, wearing a hoodie that read "Free Karen Reed." The judge ordered that Kearney stay away and have no contact with Elizabeth and Michael Proctor, Jen and Matt McCabe, Julie Nagel, Julie and Chris Albert, and Colin Albert. Kearney was released, and by the time he left the courthouse, he had a crowd of cheering supporters, and he stopped to make a statement.
I'm here right now because I'm exposing corruption. I'm exposing what really happened to John O'Keefe and the powerful and well-connected people who murdered him and cover up his murder. And this is what the state does to you when you do that. But several months from now, it will not be me standing on these courthouse steps. It will be the so-called victims. That's who will be here. Because ultimately justice will prevail and truth will prevail, and they will never shut me up. They will never, ever, ever stop me from reporting the truth about what happened to John O'Keefe.
The body cam was released, and you can hear officers in the car. They're following the school bus, and you can even hear them saying something about being able to see Kearney's children. After that, they whisper and laugh. You can also see a hand pointing to the body cam, and you hear somebody saying not to say anything about something. Kearney's legal troubles didn't end there. On Christmas Day, a BOLO was put out for Kearney, stating that police were seeking him for felony charges of domestic assault and battery and witness intimidation, stemming from an incident that Kearney was allegedly involved in at the home of a woman that he had been dating for the last few months, named Lindsay Gattani. Kearney turned himself in to police, and in Dedham District Court on December 26th, Kearney's bail is revoked, causing him to spend the next 90 days in jail. Kearney is accused of grabbing Gattani's arm and pushing her into a couch during an argument that they were having about the witness intimidation charges filed against him 2 months earlier. Right away, Kearney said that he was innocent, he was being framed, and that Gattani and police were working together to set him up for these bogus charges. Seems far-fetched, right? We've all heard that before. It wasn't me, I was set up. But 10 months later, attorney Mark Bederow dropped some major bombshells in court filings. Evidence of Gattani conspiring with the district attorney and the special prosecutor. Evidence that state police lied and hid or deleted evidence. The announcement of Tully being transferred out of Norfolk and removed from his position came on the same day that he was listed in these filings. Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Bederow bombs are dropped, and it turns out, love him or hate him, Kearney may have been right about being set up after all. I'll have the Bederow letters, plus an interview with Kearney himself to discuss it, all on the next episode of 13th Juror Podcast, Conspiracy in Canton. My name is Brandy Churchwell, creator of 13th Juror Podcast. If you're enjoying it, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and share this episode with your friends. For more information, photos, and episode guides, visit our website at 13thjurorpodcast.com.